the Russians to a standstill. Their innovative use of what they've had and what they've developed has been quite incredible. I think President Zelensky said a few weeks ago that they'd produced 2.2 million drones in the last 12 months, which is quite remarkable. When we think the British military, has drones in the tens or 20s, the way that the Ukrainians have been able to attack deep into Russia, thousands of kilometers, nobody thought that this was possible. And, even over the last couple of days, people in Moscow are saying, what on earth is going on? We're hundreds of miles from the front line and our, tower blocks have been hit. And it's very clear that, part of the Ukraine innovation has been getting, they've been using commercial light aircraft like sort of Cessnas, packing them with explosives. They're unmanned and flying them hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers into Russia to attack oil refineries and other key places. It's also clear that, this hasn't, this is not a fire and forget thing. There is no way that a Cessna could fly 1,000 kilometers into Russia, without being detected or shot down. So it would appear that in the cyberspace, Ukraine has also been very imaginative, because no doubt they've managed to blind some of the air defenses and surveillance assets of the Russians to do this. And also remembering that probably 95% of the Ukrainian soldiers now, were not soldiers 3 years ago. They were, plumbers and bricklayers and doctors and whatever. Russia has just thrown endless amounts of soldiers into the meat grinder. They passed the 1 million casualty mark quite recently. And it's very difficult to fight an enemy whose leaders don't care about casualties, which is just unbelievable. And Ukraine obviously does. But I think, when you're fighting for your national survival, and you have this great mix of people on the front line. I mean, even in the UK now, we're recognizing that, the traditional soldier, of course we need, strong young men and women who can, go and fight conventionally. But we also need the sort of geeks and the alternative people who traditionally you wouldn't expect to be in uniform and fighting. I've been very interested to see how they have been using their tanks. First of all, using particularly the British tanks, the Challenger 2, as a sniper, if you like, a sniper with a 120 millimeter bullet, firing up to about 3 kilometers. And the way they've been able to do it is using drones. Although it seems new, it's not really. Virtually every tank the Ukrainians have a number of drones working with it. There is a surveillance drone at target end, in other words, looking at the target they want to hit, so that the tank commander can better fire onto it and acquire. It's always very difficult when you're sat in a tank. It's quite difficult to actually find the targets because they're so far away. It is also confirming if you've hit the target. A lot of those Russian soldiers, are press ganged. And that's why we're seeing them, dying in their thousands. We're still, the UK MOD intelligence update every day is still telling us that 1,500 Russians or North Koreans are dying every day. The reason they're dying is because they are untrained. All they can do is virtually fire their rifles and march forward. And that's why Ukraine is managing to hold on. So, ways of fighting and technology always accelerate during warfare. And we've had over 3 years of it now. What, particularly in this country, we must make sure that we're absolutely up to speed and alert.